Hello and welcome to Cutting Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV, Upper Mississippi River Valley, and we've been making some progress. We're almost done planting corn in this first big field here in spring. However, I've come to realize we need to get some more seed out here. We just ran out of corn seed. We've still got a little bit left to do, and the headland passes, so we're gonna jump back up here to the farm and bring this pallet of seeds that we bought out there. And I just realized we've got, if we come over here by the bins, I think we've got this convey all trailer that still has a little bit of seed in it that we'd hooked up the semi to in order to use that seed for the spring planting season here, and I forgot all about it. So if we do need some more seed as we get through these next couple of fields, which I'm sure we will, I think we've got plenty. Let's hop over there real quick and just make sure that that's the case. Oh yeah, we've got almost 200 bushel of seed in here. One of these compartments completely full of seed. We'll definitely be using that for the rest of the spring harvest here. That'll make it a little bit easier to get it out there and refill the planters and such as well. I think the soybean are going in on the other field here. The drill, I believe, just started doing the headland passes on that field, so we're going to have a lot of work to do here to get everything moving again in the next fields. But first things first, let's keep the corn planter going because we've got another large field to plant. I think we're almost done spreading lime in our field across the way over there. It's looking pretty white right now, so I want to make sure that we're able to get this corn planter moved over there as soon as we're done. Conveniently, we're right up here on the correct end of the field, right next to the field entrance, so I can just bring the seed right on back to the planter here. Hopefully, we're going to be in range to load this up. Take the straps off here. Oh yeah, we're plenty close. And if I'm not mistaken, Course Play should be able to just take this right back over. I'm hoping that this is enough corn seed for us to make it all the way around the headlands here. It's almost 30 bushels of corn. Should be good to go. Although we've left the seed boxes open here. Let's see if we can hop in here real quick and address that. There we go. Get those all closed up before we start the worker back off here again. Perfect. All right. With that all sorted out, let's go ahead and get back over here to our truck. We'll go and check on the soybean drill and see how that's doing for us. The lease fees have taken their toll on our bank account as those hours tick over on the vehicles. I'm keeping an eye on that. We'll have to give the bank a call, get a few dollars back in the account here pretty soon so we can keep things moving. But I don't think we're going to have a whole lot more input costs this year either, now that I found all that seed sitting in the trailer there. I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot. Looks like we've got one or two headland passes left over here. Let's go ahead and... oh, it's coming right now. I was going to say, let's go ahead and drive up on top of the hill here where we've got a little bit better vantage of the field, but it's coming to us. Might as well jump out, see if we can hop in here real quick. Yeah, we're getting pretty low on seed here as well. 9%, about 11 bushels in the tank. We'll probably have to bring that seed tender out here to refill the drill before the end. Maybe not. It looks like we are just now starting the very last pass around the field. We might try and wing it and just let this guy go and then refill before the next field. Well, I guess either way, the next field's right next to us here, so we're not going to be running back up into the yard. So yeah, we'll get that out here and get things situated when he's all done here. And then last but certainly not least, we need to go out here and check on our lime spreading. We're getting pretty close to done out there, I believe. I don't see anything left on the headland passes on this side of the field, so I'm guessing that tractor is going to be ready to be brought back up into the yard now. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring the Silverado back up to the yard, get it out of the way, and we'll go pick that up before we jump into baling up some of this hay. All done out here, looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and tarp this out so it doesn't blow out of the trailer on the way back up to the farm. Our pH levels are looking quite a bit better now, which is awesome. We should get some pretty decent yields off of this field. The intent being, I think, to I can't remember if we were going to put corn or beans in over here, but probably corn. That way we've got 2 big fields of corn, and we can silage one of them, probably harvest the other one, and then we'll get into soybeans on our other 2 fields on the other side over there, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, I think we're going to be all good to go on all this prep work now. Now, one thing I keep forgetting about that we need to do is find a mod to transport propane over to the farm. We've got some undried corn sitting in the bins that I completely forgot about. Not overly realistic to leave wet corn in the bin all this time, but we're going to just blur our eyes on that a little bit and get some propane over here, get it dried so that we can sell it. We missed a high point in the selling cycle, and I think it's towards the end of December that corn peaks, but I believe it's got another peak in the summer here. If we take a quick look at the corn dryer, you can see we got just over 3,000 bushels, so not that many bushels of corn, but enough that we want to get that out of here, and we're going to need a little bit of propane to do that. Unfortunately, I don't see any mods right out of the gate on the server that are going to allow me to transport propane by default, so we're going to have to go out and find one. I know there's a bunch of mods out there that'll do that. I was just expecting to be able to have something on server when a map adds a new fill type like propane. A lot of times they will just override the default fuel trailer to also haul propane. But I didn't see any trailers that were going to let me do that. Oh man, unfortunately, it looks like our soybean drill here has actually gotten empty before we were able to finish the headland pass. So I'm going to go ahead and drive this up to the end of the field here, and hopefully we're going to be able to bring that semi down the edge of the field here and get this all filled back up. That's going to make life a little bit easier, I think, than trying to bring the semi all the way down the field. So I'll put this right here. We've got a nice wide grass shoulder over there, so this should be plenty of room. And I expect that this semi is going to have no problems getting up and over that hill. Even with this big tender on here, it's not actually that full, so I expect this to go pretty easily. And I'm just going to have to remember that we have a visual indicator on the back of the trailer here that tells me which hopper I've selected out of the available hoppers, and I'm going to be looking for hopper 3 with the seeds there. So if I just go ahead and keep that in mind when we get everything unfolded here, that's going to help out a lot. A little bit of pull as we come up the hill here, that's all right. Might as well gear down a bit. No sense going too fast along the edge of the field here. All right, let's get the pipe out now. There we go. We are now on seeds. You can see 3 right on the back of the trailer there. We can untarp it even. And let's see if I can move this over here. The sensitivity on moving that pipe is pretty low. Oh, I'm nowhere near close enough. Let's pull forward and see if we can just get this thing pointed like so. I think it's actually going to be easier if we hop into the tractor. Oops, I did not mean to shut that off. And back this straight in here. We can always fine tune once we get things a little bit more lined up. And there we go. Unloading right into the hopper, working awesome. All filled up. We might as well fold this thing back up now. We'll get it out of the way. I think that corn planter is going to need quite a bit more seed as well. Was hoping to avoid driving over the field with this semi, but next time we'll have to back the semi up, or not back the semi up, but park the semi with the auger in a good position and then back the drill up to it and fine tune from there. I think that's going to work out a lot better the next time around. So before I go too far though, let me just go ahead and get that drill going again. As always, remember to close your covers so the seed doesn't get jostled out. And AI worker Sarah has completed their task. I have to wonder if that was the corn planting wrapping up over there. Be nice if that finished without needing to be refilled. Definitely needs to be refilled before we start the next field though. Get all backed in here to the right spot, more or less. And send it on its way. And we did indeed finish with the corn. I think what we're gonna do is go ahead and fire this up. We will run this over to the next field and then we'll catch up with the seed tender and get everything topped off before we start it up. This planter is extremely dirty though. We probably could use to wash it off here, but we need to keep it moving. We've got a lot of planting to get done this spring. I'm super curious to see if this is finally going to be the year where we can start to move into being exceptionally profitable and paying down some of these outstanding loans that we've got. We did not put a dent in the fertilizer either. We're still up over 80%, which is awesome. Means we should be able to wrap up this next field no problem as well. All that manure is paying off, keeping the nitrogen levels in our fields nice and high. And before we take off with that seed tender, let's go ahead and just get this guy started on the next field since we're right here. We're gonna go ahead and put beans in this other long field over here. Should be a quick process. Now, this time I want to make sure that we set up our course play course correctly and turn off those skip rows that I had on the previous field here. That was unnecessary. So course play generator rows to skip is 0. That should create a much better course, especially for this small of a field. Start job. He's going to go down here and start on the other end of the field, I guess. Works for me. And we're going to jump back into this semi and get this hauling over here to the other field real quick. It was bugging me seeing that negative money up in the corner of the screen there, so we went ahead and took out another 10K on the loan just to see a positive number again. We're still not sitting very well with the bank. We got 2.9 something million in debt still. So we've got to figure out how we're going to eventually get enough money to buy this last leased field that we've got. And I didn't think this through very well, but hopefully I'm going to be able to get this pipe over one of these bins at least. Get our stuff set up on hopper 3 here. And then with our pipe way over here, I'm hoping I can inch this thing forward and find the zone. There we go. We had it for a second there. I can't imagine I'm full yet. I think I've just pulled into the wrong spot. I don't think I can actually line it up to go into the hopper like I'd like to. I think the trigger is a little bit in the center there. That's all right. We've got it all sorted out. All of our seed put into the planter here. Planter is not full though, so we're gonna have to cross our fingers and hope that we're gonna get through all of this field. And if we create a job on this big field 7, I think all of the default settings we had last time should work out very well for us. And it looks like it wants to go on the diagonal on this field, so you know what? We're not going to argue with it. Course play's been working really good for us on these last couple. So I'm going to let it start the job here and do its thing. It is going to fold it up though, because it's got to drive all the way to the other side of the field. That's all right. We'll go ahead and back this conveyal out of the driveway here and get it run back up to the farm. Its job is complete. And just like that, I think we've got the last of the heavy lifting done for our planting season. We're on the last 2 fields on the farm since we don't need to replant any of our grass fields. We have got, what, 4 grass fields and 2 cornfields going in and 2 soybean fields going in this year, so that should be a good mix. The one thing that I've gotten some comments on, and I think we might actually check out in the following year here, if I can make enough money to make the purchases, is to look at some of the production facilities around the map and see what we can do to maybe plant some different crops and run some things through the production facilities. That sounds like it could be a lot of fun. I don't usually play with those kind of mechanics, and there's probably some good profit to be made if we took a look at some of those, so we'll probably do that. The next job we've got lined up today, though, is to jump over here into our 4440 and bale up this hay field that we've got. I can't move the clock forward again until we have some hay to make a little bit more feed. We're kind of sitting right on the edge of not having enough feed to continue moving the clock forward for our animals. So I want to make sure that we can keep all of our animals productive, which means more grass work. My favorite. A little bit of sarcasm there, but that's all right. We'll see how we do here. I'm hoping that since we've been keeping the nitrogen on these fields, that the hay yield is going to be pretty high here, and we're going to get a fair number of bales off of these fields. That will keep the cows fed. We are 1 month away here. I think when we move the clock forward into May, we're about to get another 500 cows on the farm, which is going to be just insane. At that point, we may look into some other options to really make our grass work more efficient here. Now, one thing people have told me a few times is to not do the headlands first when we're baling, so I don't have the bales sitting on the headlands. So maybe I'll take some straight rows and we'll work on the up-down rows a little bit here instead of focusing on the headlands, and come back and grab the headlands at the end of the process. This 4440 works good, but it does apparently struggle a little bit on the hills with this big baler. These big square balers take a fair amount of horsepower at times. Now I'm falling into the trap. I want to do the headlands because that's what I'm used to doing. We're gonna turn back in. We'll skip every other row. I think I can turn that tight with this baler, and we'll see how this goes. Normally I would probably rake these up, windrow them into fewer rows, but the way that everything works out here, I find that that actually takes more time and energy than to just come in here directly with the baler and jump right into it. So I've kind of found myself more willing to just bale these, even though they're skinnier rows, and I can get it done in as much time, if not less time, than if we were to get a windrower, a rake, or a merger or something out here to put these rows together. I think that if I was doing this multiplayer and we had more people playing at the same time, that it would make a lot more sense to jump out here with the rake for sure. Or if there was drying mechanics like Seasons used to have in the previous versions of the game, that would make more sense as well. But given that we're able to mow it up into a nice windrow and have it be hay for us already, this is turning out to be the most efficient way that I have found to tackle these jobs. I'm really hoping I can get turned around here before that bale drops off the back of the baler right now. There we go. Looking good. And that reminds me, I've also got another cool mod here installed on the server finally. This is something that Perma's Modding did for me. Let me see if I can figure out how to show this off. There's a third person mode for the camera, I think. There we go. And as you can see, I've got the nice Ketterick Farms shirt on here. I gotta get into the right position. Oh, I've ripped my shirt. Oh no, there's a small hole in the back of my shirt. But you can see I've got the awesome polo shirt with the Ketterick Farms logo on it. I thought that was a pretty cool little addition there, so we're gonna go ahead and use that for our thumbnail here for this episode. I'm digging the custom clothing that you can do in Farm Sim 22 now. Put your logo on anything. I need to get a hat done up too, probably. That'll be a nice addition to the shirt. But yeah, we finally switched off of our standard John Deere hoodie that I've used since the game came out. We now have a Ketterick Farms polo shirt that we're able to wear around the farm, which is awesome. I find myself typically wearing polo shirts around most of the time. Too many years in the corporate life, I suppose. And apparently something that I've leased is costing us more money. We're down by $3,000 again. So I don't know where, which equipment I've got leased that's eating up our funds, but we've definitely got something eating up funds. That's all right, to be expected. That's just making those pieces of equipment a little bit cheaper to buy when the time comes. I'm looking forward to seeing how many more pieces of equipment we can buy this year as we sell off our crops that we've got in storage over the summer here. My plan is to get enough capital in the bank to switch out ownership on that field from the field lease mod to us actually owning it. I think I can return the lease and then immediately buy the field and not have it affect anything on the actual farming side. I think all of the field data and everything will stay the same, hopefully not ruining the fertilization and other mechanics on those fields. So we're gonna find out. I suppose the safer point in time would be to wait until winter or in the fall maybe, before I spread the fertilizer and stuff on those fields, but I don't want to keep paying on this super expensive lease that we've got on this big field across the way. So the soonest we can get the money to buy that off, I'm going to spend that money and we're going to take ownership of that field, I think. The in-cab views on these Soundguard tractors is just awesome. This is what I grew up driving on the farm, and I absolutely love it. It definitely brings back the memories, especially the bouncing and jostling around that we're doing in this particular tractor. I find having the force feedback on my steering wheel also brings that added realism as it bounces and jerks around on me a little bit. The physical reinforcement of how bouncy these tractors could be at times is another great reminder. Really brings back those memories. I think we're coming up on the last of this field, at least for the baling. I've got just a single more pass left here. I think I'm actually going to try and leverage course play on the next one. That way I can see if I can get both the baler and the mower to run across that field completely automated. I don't typically really enjoy grass work that much. It's not that hard. This has actually been one of the series that I've not despised it so much. I think it's because I don't have to do all of the tedding and raking and so on and so forth. And I've got a nice auto load trailer simplifying the bale loading experience. So I think we are going to try and automate that out this time and just see how it works. That was the whole point of kind of creating some of these fields in the first place, and we ended up doing a little bit more with the forage harvester the first couple times around, and that worked okay. But I think I'm enjoying the bales right now, so I'm going to see if we can get the bale process working better here through course play. I know there's a bale collection mode that we can run if we had a more standard auto pickup trailer. I don't know how that's going to work with an auto load trailer like what we've got right now, but maybe we'll play with that as well at some point. Although honestly, Our pickup is way undersized for the trailer we've got, so I don't know if that's going to work at all. We may end up just doing the loading ourselves with the auto load trailer, which would be okay if that's what we ended up having to do. I'm going to kick this extra bale out here, although we're going down the hill, so it's not dumping off of the back of our baler here quite as I'd hoped. We'll kick it up a gear, that bounce into 8th gear, always enough to jostle a bale out the back of the baler. And I'm going to, I think, leave this thing up here in the yard, right here alongside the road. And we're going to go jump in the swather here and see if we can get that running. Man, I've got to cut down on the tacos on Tuesdays here with the flab of the arm hanging out the back of my shirt there. We're ripping out of our clothes, folks. It looks like the drill has finished with the soybeans in that field as well. I did get a notification just a few minutes ago, so we'll be hopping over there and driving that back up into the yard as well. But let's get the courseplay driver set up here first. We don't have an existing course, which is actually a good thing. Create job. Oh, target is not in a field. Let me get you moved up into the field here, bud. Create job on 4. Course generator. 4 headlands sounds good. Start working on the headlands is also good. Generate. And, oh, yep, we're all lined up. We'll set that to first. Start. I'm going to copy this course. And then I'm going to come down here and paste this course in here. I'm not going to start him just yet. I want that swather to get around a few times. Check in here on the corn planter. Oh man, we are just rocking and rolling across this field. Look at how far we've gotten. I'm digging that. But we're going to hop out here and take this soybean drill back up to the yard. We're all good to go here. Everything's looking pretty good. I'm sure there's the typical missed bits here and there that we get with courseplay, but I can't see them with the color of the ground texture too well there, so I'm going to just ignore it. And if things look terrible, we'll blame the hired worker later in the fall when we can really see the missed spots. I'm excited to have a good amount of hay sitting on this field over here for us right now, though. That's going to work out great to be able to get some feed mixing going on again. And yeah, I feel like spring has gone really well here on the farm. Lots of seed left in case the corn planter runs out, so we might have to dump this out of the drill at some point. I think instead of putting it away, especially because it's so dirty right now, what I'll do is I'll run this thing up. We'll park it by the fuel barrel. We can top off the fuel in the tractor here, although I'm going to have to right size our money situation first, and then we'll get it all washed up and empty the products out of it. Here, borrow a little money, and I'm not getting a fuel trigger. Let me back up a little bit. There we go. Fuel's all topped off. I love it. And I'm just dropping those there. We've got our seed pallets. We got 3 of them. That way we can load those up in the pickup and bring them out to the corn planter when we need to. Yeah, I'm just going to drive this thing over here by the water tank. We'll get this all cleaned up and put away in a little bit here. However, I think at this point that the swather has gone around that field enough times that hopefully I can start the baler off behind it and not run into too many problems. That's at least the hope. We'll find out. I should probably just wait till it's done, but you know, I like to try and get multiple jobs done at the same time here. We're gonna just toss him out here and let him go. All right, first waypoint, start. Let's see what it does. It's looking good so far. I was a little bit worried for a second there. It looks like we're off center, but not by that much, and the pickup on that baler is nice and wide, so I think this is going to work out perfectly for us. And if anything, we might drop some bales in the way. They might get pushed off the edge of the field. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but 18 minutes to finish this on the baler, and 10 minutes for the swather to finish its thing. So the swather is definitely moving at just a little bit faster than the baler is, which should work out perfect for us. That puts us at one last check on the planter. We've still got 30% of our seed in the hopper here, so I'm not too worried about running out anytime soon. We're going to be able to run for a while here. I think this is going to be a great place to wrap up today's episode. We're going to let these workers do their things. I'm going to pick up some bales probably off camera, and we'll check back in next episode for some craziness with our animal count exploding. We're going to have to move them around in between the pens and stuff. We've got a few different odd jobs to do, and we'll probably have to get into both spraying and hauling our crops for the year as we push into summer. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you did, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. That's all for today. Ketterk out.